Good morning and happy Tuesday. So, we are already loaded up over here. It looks like it's good. Everything's fine. Why do I look red? What's going on? I'm not red. But I look like I've been sunburned or something. What what configuration of lights do we have going on here? Weird. Okay. Hey, good morning and happy Tuesday to you all. For those of you who are hanging with me for art, we'll move over to the other desk here, and we'll do that. We need to real quickly grab a sheet of paper. And it's not important that you have some kind of special paper. I use just normal copy paper for this. I mean, just your average, everyday copy paper that comes from, and it is somewhat wasteful, and I admit that openly. However, it's good for you, so this is an important thing for those of us that it's good and healthy. So let's go on ahead and real quick, if you are following with me from home, and let's go on ahead and do this. Just use a normal pencil. I draw almost to the edge of the page, but not quite, because I want to have some room for those other lines that go this way. I'll put in a couple of these vertical lines here. We'll do some horizontal lines like this. And again, I use just a architect scale, and I like it because I can just pick it up. I know that probably makes a whole bunch of architects go, why? However, it is a thing. We're also going to do 3. Start and stop. This one too. Start and stop. And one more down here. Start and stop. Then we're going to take, and this is just what we call a French curve, and it's just a normal French curve. There's nothing special about it. You can use any French curve you want. And we'll go like this. Then we'll go like this. Right? Now we've got a couple of cross lines there. Now, as I have said before, I see both of you guys on there, but I can't read what it says, so I'll have to kind of catch up with you guys in a second. As I said before, we just use a normal 0.4 millimeter pen. You can use any pen from 0.2 all the way up to 0.8. It's not significant or important. Now, I have been going this way, but Brent was commenting that I should be pulling the other direction. And he's probably right. At least practicing to pull. So again, you want to make sure your elbow is lifted off the table and your wrist is lifted off the table. And you pull. Oh, that's much worse. I'm glad you told me to do this, Brent. 2. 4. And I'm actually not being sarcastic. I've done a lot of martial arts in my day. And one of the major things that I have learned in martial arts is that if it starts to become bad, then you're doing something right, because now you're working an issue, you're working a problem. So I actually like it when I start going wonky. And look at that line, that's very wonky. That means that this is exactly what I needed to do. Gotten so comfortable with going left to right that going down up to down is actually an issue. So again, with the long guys here, let's do the same thing, right? Well, now we found something new to practice, haven't we? How awesome. Look at these lines. They're atrocious. Here we go. We'll do this one too. Yeah, I definitely have more control problem pulling down. Which explains a lot of the problems that we're having out here too. That's awesome. Look at that. Isn't that great? We'll do the same thing here. We'll pull back. Ah, that's great. All right. Do the same thing here. You're going to leave from your departure point and look to your arrival point. Leave the departure point and look to the arrival point. And leave your departure point and look to the arrival point. Now, one of the things that I will always do here is I'll write what changed. What did we change here? Because this is going to look significantly different than this guy, right? So what changed? And that's what it is. We pulled from the top. It's 12:15. Here we go. All right, my friends. That was an excellent exercise. All right. Good morning, Donald. It's totally how you fall in love in Paris. It's totally what happens. My good man. It's good to see you. Make sure we have control over here. We do. All right. We're going to continue working on the picture we were working on yesterday, which is of our wind person. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to work on that. That's what we're going to do today. So, we were working on her yesterday. Now we're going to work some more on her. Here we go. Kind of got a little bit of a little kind of, I don't know, I'm not as happy with what's going on right here in this forehead. So I'm going to zoom in a little, and we're back to one small thing can make all the difference, right? And so I feel like her brow was just a little too serious, right? Flatten that out a little. I love this shirt. This is one of my favorites. Mostly because I have caught only one Pokemon. He's sitting over there. I think he's ready to, level up. From a Pikachu to a Raichu. So, here we go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix, and thank you for the compliment. I love this shirt too. This is one of my favorites. I think it's contributing to the general feel, though, that I'm very red today, like I've been sunburned or something. I haven't had any sun, no. So, it's like, I don't know. There we go. Let's give her some concentration eyebrows, but she looked too, like, I don't know. I felt like this scene, she needed to look a little less consternated, a little more worried. Like, will this work? We don't know. Is any of that working? There we go. That's true. More sun today than yesterday. Always a plus. All right. So we'll be putting in more of this here. We'll do that. There we go. I'm going to give a lot more of her hair back here. There we go. I'm just making her hair kind of stick out the bottom down here a little. Maybe not do that though. There you go. Watery eyes might, I don't know if she is that freaked out. I feel like this is we've got to save the ship, sort of that kind of effect we're going for here. I feel like she's doing a lot more save the ship sort of stuff. So that's where we are with this. There we go. It's going to be difficult getting in here, so I want to make sure I'm close. One little dot throws everything off, so we want to make absolutely sure. There we go. And this guy needs to go like this more. I feel like she has very serious hair that, is getting thrown around and kind of tossed around a little. Hey, Brent. Donald has nicknames for us now, which is cool. I like my nickname. It's cute. There we go. We need to kind of complete this part. Alright. Kind of makes Donald the master of colorful nicknames. He called... I was... dedicated, talented scholar of visual stimulated information stimuli. It was pretty cool. I dig that. I like the scholar part. I feel like I am constantly relearning the way we should be in life. Vulcanish hobbit feels to the greetings today. I like that. I dig it. Okay. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to make sure that I'm completing the effect in front of her ear. Otherwise, when we fill this with color, it's just going to fill her face, and we don't want to do that. We also want to make sure that this strand of hair that's in front of her face goes past her chin. And the major reason we want to do that is because we want to illustrate cleanly that this is not an error on my part for drawing. And I know it sounds strange, but you will register that there's a line out of place somewhere. And so I want to make sure there's no lines out of place here. You can tell that that's a deliberate thing coming in front of her face there. We deliberately wanted to do that. Right, so this strand of hair is deliberately in front of her face to add to the chaos of everything whipping around, but it has to clear her entire face. Otherwise, it looks like her chin line. We really don't want that. You know how we talk regularly about converging tangents. And that's one of them. We want to make sure we have no converging tangents here with this jawline. So, there we go. We're adding to the chaos here. I think it's awesome. I love your concept there. That's a great concept. All right. Now we've done that, let's take a look at our original sketch under here, because we've got a lot more chaos to build in. But more importantly, we have now effectively covered up this guy, this poor dude. Here, so we're going to go into this layer. I'm going to have to grab him from down here and bring him upward so that we can show him being stunned by this. Oh, wow, she is doing what? What is she doing? That's bizarre. He doesn't need to be there. Some dude. It's not the main character or anything. He doesn't need to be on there. One of the other things is when we put the original sketch here, you can see how we've adjusted. So even when we do use 3D maquettes, you still want to go through and adjust the picture because the 3D is still not quite dynamic. It doesn't have a punch. With this guy, you know, I'm already feeling like his arm needs to be here or something like that. So we're already going to have to do some fixings on this sketch. So we'll go back down onto the sketch layer. I'm going to have his hand right here, like this, like he's holding on to part of the spar of the deck, because he's coming out of a deck room of some sort back here. So we're going to want that like this. Yes, actually. One argues that the original Enterprise Gray Lady model is a miniature at 11 feet. The model that you'll see at the Air and Space Museum of the original Enterprise, she's an 11-foot miniature. Mostly because the real ship is, you know, something like, 900 feet long or something like that. You know, whatever is the real ship. So even if it's 11 feet, it's considered a miniature. So, and I have, by the way, had ongoing thoughts about the idea of building an 11-foot Enterprise. Don't think I haven't had those thoughts. I have. Because, I mean, if you're working in miniature scale and you have an 11-foot ship, you could put people in there that are this big. I could paint their faces. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't there and painting their faces. I'd be all about that. Stick them inside the windows. They're all looking outside. Ooh, look at that. You know, that'd be fun. And Brent would help me. And he and I would just be, and we'd have so much fun. It would be such a great thing. It's such a wonderful thing to do. Okay, so we're looking at the angle of the rest of the spars down here. At this point in the boat, I feel like this spar probably needs to fit that same angle as this here. So I'm going to put it backwards like this. I'm actually going to go ahead and just shrink it down a little. He's out of the room here, so I don't feel like I actually want to put that in there as much anymore. But here's his hand. That's what I do want. I want him to be dramatically standing like this, you know. Whoa, holy cow, what are you doing? You know, there was once a discussion about that. They were going to build a close to life-size or a life-size version of the Enterprise in Las Vegas. They never did. I'm still bitter about this. It's still, you know, because that would be like reason for me to move to Las Vegas. I never had enough money to go see the Star Trek experience in Vegas. And it's still kind of a sad thing. Yeah, actually, I think they were going to make it a refit. So, the refit Enterprise from the movies. I think that was the battle plan on that. But, anyway. Clearing off my monitor a little. I feel like a life-size Death Star. That would be a little bit more difficult. I mean, it takes like 10 minutes to run the trench at space speeds or X-Wing speeds or whatever. So, you think about that at a jet would do that. You know, you'd have to build, I mean, just the diameter of it would be like Arizona. You know. At least the Enterprise would only be a couple of 100 meters. I don't even know what to do about that, though. All right, let's get in here and start talking about this guy. Right. We'll get his hair whipping about, too. Because there's a lot of wind going on up here. You know, short hair, it still whips around a lot. There we go. Now with him, because he's male, oh, you got to dial it back in. Yeah, that's the problem with those resin printers. You got to dial them back in. Because he's male, I'm not going to put as much detail into his lips. If you do, it makes him look like he's got, you know, lipstick on, which is not an issue, but not part of what this character does. So. And I'm feeling a little less like he's amazed here. He needs to be more amazed. right? There we go. Death Star is the size of a moon. Yeah, it'd be another moon for us. That's no moon. Okay. Well, we are talking about the Death Star, so... letting his collars kind of flap about. Yep, he's worried. So this is a stressful moment in the book. So there's a lot of stress going on between the characters anyway. So this is, boat sinking sort of essence, and she's saving the boat. So we'll... like that. I don't think we're ready to put his hand in yet. This is is she going to do it? Will she do it? Will she save the entire world? Let's see. Tune in next time to see if she saved the entire world. Excellent. Now that's looking a whole lot better. We've got him on a separate layer just so that I can keep working on it independently of her. She's on this layer. And the only real reason that we're doing that is so that I can keep working on the two pieces of them. And then, it's like, same bad time, same bad channel. Dun dun dun. This also will allow me to add behind here these sails, but it allows me to do it with one stroke like that so that we can get a good feel of that just being one move. Right? And then all I have to do, because this is on a different layer, is adjust it when we get there. There we go. Move my microphone back a little. Didn't really want to breathe on my microphone. I don't like the breathing on the microphone. Right? Okay, so now we can take this, where we put those in, like this, and we'll just cut to where she is, like that. And that puts her in front of it, but doesn't require me to draw behind her, right? One of the things I love about Clip Studio Paint is that it allows, it's very forgiving about a lot of things, but it also, the zoom in, zoom out function is based on where your pin is. So I can zoom in up here and work on this. That's certainly, these days, I'm having a lot of problems with Photoshop. And things, I'm trying to remember what are good things about Clip Studio Paint. Not because of anything other than, right? Her skirt's got superpowers. But now I've got that all behind them, so I can bring this up now, and you can actually see now we have a lot of what looks like sails billowing. It's user-friendly. It is user-friendly. It's got a different learning curve. And I really wish it had better tools for controlling the text. Now, one of the other reasons I did this on 3 separate layers, and I really should have thought of this before I did this, was I want to, because I went through and did so much cutting out of all of these different things, and really, we need to, there. Because she's a little too far to the left here, and I really want to move her there. Right? Because I want her centered. So, putting her just a little bit more to the middle gives her a centered look. And she's much more in line with this. So, we're going to do that. And that's part of what we were after here. And these are, now we can look at this and go through and pull out parts of this. And I have no idea what disconnected. Something disconnected. I heard it disconnect. We got the disconnect noise. But my tablet's still running, so I'm assuming it must be the camera over there on the desk. I did buy a device which was kind of cool. It had the ability to plug in or have a disconnect button, but it was a bad unit, and so it started disconnecting and reconnecting all of a sudden out of the blue. So there was that. And see, that's going to look a lot better. She's more centered. You're looking straight at her. Yeah, that was Troy. Troy was doing Nativity. Which, I'll just bring him back on the show at some point. The biggest problem with Troy is that he's got 3 kids he's writing hurt on. I only have 1. So, feel for the guy when... I feel for the guy whenever he's got, like, this amazing downtime he's got to deal with and stuff like that, and all the kids he's got to wrestle and wrangle. I only have the 1 guy over there. I do have to wrestle with him and wrangle with him, though. There is that. I hope he shows us as well. In fact, I think I will text him tonight and invite him onto the show. Thursday and Friday, I may not be in the world's best shape. We'll have to see. I know that they've been saying that this side of my face is going to swell. So I'm going to be chipmunky, at least on Thursday and Friday. So Oh, it's all good, Donald. Don't worry, man. It's cute. You're good. So, I may be chipmunky on Thursday and Friday. We'll have to see how that goes. So that might be the perfect time to bring Troy back in on this show. There we go. We'll go up here. We'll clean this line back up. It's not there. Yep, George will be in charge of the show on Thursday. And that's important. He's big on that. He thinks that'll be fun. Good old George. He's not old. He's not old at all. Okay, so with the exception of this hand, I'm liking my line work here. My line work looks solid. We definitely have some fascinating stuff going on. It looks interesting. A couple of other things I'm going to add. I am going to add some loose ropes and guy lines kind of going. Yeah, Pepper should be back on Friday in theory, so we'll have to see. So, I don't know if either one of you were here whenever I talked about this, but they're going to do a root canal on this tooth. But instead of doing the classic root canal where you drill through the tooth, they're going to try to save the cap, and they're going to go in through the gum and then cut the roots at the top, draw out the infection, and then pack that zone with growth agent. And theoretically, and then sew it back up. But he said because it's surgery, it'll still cause this side of my face to swell. So I expect I'll do my show tomorrow as normal. We'll try to finish this piece up, or maybe we'll finish this piece up today. Either way, we'll get a piece. We'll be having something normal tomorrow. Tomorrow there's no show due to dentist. It's a 1:30 appointment. I should be fine for at least doing the show. So I'll do the show, and we'll do whatever we're going to do here. Probably something that'll be mind-settling, like working on a map or something that will be good for my mental behavior here. And then we'll see. See, I heard something disconnect and reconnect. Something just disconnected and reconnected, and that's not my tablet. My tablet's still running. I don't know what's disconnecting and reconnecting. Maybe up there? No, because this light's on power. So, anyway, TLDR, we'll see what happens, right? Who knows? Anything could happen. The dentist might get sick, and then there won't be an appointment. We'll have to see. I'm just going to freehand this. I don't even know what layer I'm on. There we go. I'm going to merge all these layers soon just so I can stop hopping between layers. Yeah, actually we've been kind of planning on that. I got a lot of applesauce downstairs, and I'll make some mashed potatoes and some stuff like that tonight, or tomorrow, so that I will have the ability to. Now, he said that it shouldn't affect my biting, but I have to be careful what I chew on because it might tear the stitches. So I have to wait for a couple of days before I can chew on anything. I should lose some great weight over 2 days. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and take all 3 of these layers, and I'm going to merge them together. Turn off everything but the layers, so that, because I'm feeling good and confident with the ink, now here. This looks good. This is fine. A couple of things I wanted to kind of fix, but for the most part, everything looks like it's kind of flowing here. Now I'm going to add a layer on top. And the one thing I wanted to add is a rope or guy line. It's like this. Something that looks like it's loose in the front. We have a lot of chaos going on here. Banana smoothies, yes. Oh, and you may stream again tonight. Tonight usually is the night that I play Borderlands with my pals, but I'll see if I can't tune in. I'll be on Discord with them, so I might be able to pop up your show too. I don't know. We'll see. Because I might be able to pull up Twitch and put it over on this monitor. I only use this monitor when I play Borderlands, so this monitor could be free. It has been a while since Luna's been here. She usually comes in on Fridays, though. I don't think she's free any other days, so I think it's just Fridays. All right. I feel kind of like I don't like this line here. I want it to be in front, but we don't want to ruin too much of her really cool design here. And while we're at it, I wonder if there's a way I could just extend it. Can I put a layer? I guess not. So we'll just zoom in for it and do work this way. Right. But having sort of not feeling it sort of moment here. As far as letting this go from a larger angle or a bigger angle, I felt like it was not, it didn't look as good. It was kind of feeling to me like it was there we go. Make this work as a rope. Now you know it's a definite rope at this point in time. It's got braiding on it. Yes, frayed sounds like a good idea too. It's not going to be a perfect rope anyway, right? So we'll give it some kind of roughness around the edges so that there we go. Makes it look like sort of like a vine almost. We gotta be careful not to do that. But now we can look at this, and let's take a look underneath this here and pull that out. And this one as well. And go through her hair a little here. We really don't want interference from underneath this to confuse what's going on. There we go. Right. All right. So now we've got a lot of chaos going on. I like it. It looks very chaotic. Definitely looks like she's doing something here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Sometimes it's good to be at the end of your rope, because at least then the rope didn't loop around. Right? You can always climb up the end of the rope. You can't climb up the ones that loop. That's us and our gallows humor, guys. Here we are with gallows humor. Alright, now that we've done this, I'm going to look into how we're going to paint it, right? We're going to want to paint this piece a little in grays. We don't need to worry about going in anything major here. So what we're going to do first is get ourselves a mid-tone in here and just put it to the back, right? And that'll give us a lot more just variety in what's going on. Then I'm going to take a new raster layer. And you know what? We have Wallop. This is something I want to test, right? I've got all these watercolor brushes. But now we have the ability to import PDF or PSDs. Hey, Chief. Wait. There we go. Wow. That took more effort than it should have. That took a lot more effort than it needed to. We were apparently going to take a George break. We were just talking about you. We were saying that you were going to take over the show once I go to the dentist. That was what we were thinking. What do you think? You think you should take over the show while we go to the dentist? I think you should take over the show while we go to the dentist. We'll turn the camera on so that people can see you. There we go. Now, hey, dude. So George, of course, we get a George break, because George is George, and he is who he is. He's like, I like this picture. This is a great picture. I'll destroy it. George is who George is. Aren't you, George? Yeah. Now he's purring. We got a lot of purring going on. It's kind of funny. You can't hear him purring, although I've put the microphone up against him before. Maybe we'll hear him. Right? You are an awesome show mascot. You're a good mascot. Good to the show. Okay. So we get a break that involves a few minutes of George. You're a good cat. So, I know I've mentioned this before, his polydactylism, how he's got extra claws, but we've discovered he has 2 extra claws. So, on each paw, he's got 7 claws, which means that he snags on everything. He doesn't mean to, but he does. That's a good question. What would you think of if I drew you? I don't know. He gets a lot of pictures taken of him, and he just looks at the pictures with sort of a strange disinterest. So I feel like he probably wouldn't, mind too much. Yeah, you can go. There you go. See you later, George. Good visiting with us. Now you're going to go back here and then walk on the main line. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's George. George does what George does. Okay. I'm going to try here to import, and I've forgotten how to do this. Maybe import subtool. And then I can't read anything on this screen like this. I'm going to move it over here. Okay, import, not downloads. Somewhere I've been working on. Yeah, he got his 10 minutes of fame. That's what he got. That's what we got there. Somewhere I have brushes that I downloaded from an artist online that I've been working on painting with, or trying to learn how to paint from. And I thought I had put it on my website, or my desktop, but I guess I didn't. Did I put it in here? I did. There we go. Import those and see what happens. So now what we're doing is we're importing Wlop. I don't know what his real name is. He just goes by WLOP. But he is a phenomenal artist. I even say he. I don't know. Could be a she. Phenomenal artist. And she is putting videos out right now on how to do things, like how this individual has done in the past these things. But recently, when they did, they put out their brushes, and the brush that this individual uses for skin is so cool because it looks like a painting, and I love that brush. But there's a ton of these brushes, so we're going to have to see how this works. It's taking a long time to register this material. But the newest version of Clip Studio Paint now allows me to download the brushes or import brushes from Photoshop. That's great. I mean, that's awesome. So this might be a better time to jump the stretch a little early and get up and do our stretches. Stand up. Stretch. Scratch the cat just a little bit because he's over here existing. And he wants to lick. He's over here wanting to lick. But, that's what it works. Stretch. Stand up. Bend to each side. There we go. Walk around the place a little. So we'll walk around the office just a hair and come back around. Ensure that no cat goes for a swim. That'd be you I'm talking about. We'll go over here. Go back here. Look outside. Look at that. I mean, there's a nice coating of snow outside, but it's not like excessive. And there's blue sky and the sun's coming out. It's a wonderful day. wonderful day. Good cat. You're a little weird, but you're a good weird cat. Just saying. Please don't bite things. Refrain from biting. So, okay. That works. You and all of your little claws. Yep. Yeah, I know. He's learning. I have zotted him a couple of times for getting on there. He did massive damage one time to a cell that I was working on. And so, trying to get him to be a little less destructive. You're doing good. Doing good. Keep up the good work. Okay. Let's make sure you are done importing. All right. We are done importing, right? We're not done importing. You know what? I'm going to move this over here so we can see it. Oh, you know, that would be good. Although, you know, it would drive us absolutely bonkers to hear that thing ding, 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 ding all day long. It'd be really rough. Okay. So we're going to switch back to the monitor. You can see up here we're registering this material. And that's what we're waiting for here, is this material to register. Right there. I don't know where it's going to put it. Is it going to put it over here in these guys? I'm hoping it puts it over here. But I only really need one of the things that he uses. However, she uses a phenomenal set of really great brushes. He's got the little circle brushes that are like a 50% opacity or something like that, which makes for a really, really effective out of focus lights, like when you see a photograph and there's somebody, because we don't know. They use, but these out of focus circles, which are great for lights behind a person when you have a person at night and you've taken a picture out of focus, you know, the person's in focus, but behind them the cityscape is out of focus, and all you get is those in fact, I've got a piece I was working on. I'll show that here, because it's still working on loading those materials. And the piece that I was working on had one of those. I discovered that they had put that brush in there. It's time to take a break, it says. But I already took my break. Okay. But here you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. In the background, we've got all of these wonderful little circles, which are going behind us here. And the circles work really well to look like just lights that are in the background somewhere. This is that skin brush that they have that I'm hoping I can use here for this particular project. And that gives a nice brush effect, but doesn't look too smooth. So I think it's funny because I'm not ecstatic with that particular picture. Oh, look at that. They're all right over here. And it added it as a lot brush. Beautiful. So now all I got to do is figure out which one of these I want to use. There's that skin brush, right? That's that skin brush we want to use. They are Chinese, and so I've got a lot of Chinese characters here, which is great. I can read them just fine, but I could see that being confusing to some people. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take and go lighter. I'm going to go in here, and we're just going to right? We'll come back through here at some point and fix this, but for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come back in here and right, and just paint that in like that. Now maybe what I should do though, and it actually might not be a bad idea, is to flat this first. So let's do that first. Now flatting is something we would do for a comic sort of page, but I think that this might not be a bad idea to do it here too. So we'll duplicate the layer, and then we'll go in here, and then we'll just take and we'll fill like parts of her like this so that they're flatted, right? And that way we can come back in and we can work this with a different aspect. And this makes it, anything we can do to make this go faster. You know what I mean? Anything to make it work faster. That's another thing that I do a lot in Photoshop that does not work here, and that is that right mouse click. It's extraordinarily useful. The right mouse click instantly selects whatever it is you're using. So I'm going to go in here, and why is that not doing that? Where's the leak in this? Right up here. It's fine. We'll take right there and just seal that down. There we go. Okay. There we go. Talk about free associating, bro. That said, I dig the free association. I'm not going to disagree. There we go. All right. Now, one thing I think I will do, we'll go up here for a really light color, and we'll hit this background that's in between here. Really illuminate where she is. Make her stand out quite a bit. There we go. All right. Probably this one too. So the sails are floppy around and stuff like that, but they are not having major issues here. Alrighty. There we go. Now that we've added some good color behind this, probably his face and hand should also be that color as well. Now we can go in and put in some detail whenever we get to that stage. Putting in the flatting has helped us a lot. it describes and tells us where a lot of these color shapes are and what they mean and things like that. But it also is making our sails should be different colors and different effects like that. That's a lot of coughing. Yeah, we need to figure out the gemstones, don't we? Still dying. There's a house rule that says no one's supposed to die. No dying. There we go. Oops. Where's the leak? Right there. There's a lot of galloping between those two. George and the kid are running up and down the stairs, and they're both thinking this is the best game that they've ever played in their lives. And considering the fact that they are locked inside, now George has to live with it, but because he's an indoor cat. But the kid doesn't have to live with that, so I'm okay with him galloping up and down the stairs usually. No Time to Die. James Bond in No Time to Die. Should I make these this color? Oh yeah, definitely. And those need to be that color right there. Looks like he's got a eye problem. We haven't gotten into any details yet, so we'll have to work on that in a second. But for right now, I'm liking where these colors are going. Although the uniform stripes make it look like it's some kind of clown thing. So I'm going to fix those stripes so that they don't look like that. Yeah, I think she should have gemstones on these buttons. We'll come back in and make them look like gemstones when we come in for the fine paint, which we will be doing here shortly. Right? Because we got to fix things like her lipstick and stuff like that. We also have to go in here and do stuff like that. Righty. Now we're looking good. I'm liking this look. It's looking fine. So what we'll do is we'll add a layer on top of this. And we'll take that brush that we just got, the good skin brush that I like so much, and we'll come in here and do stuff like this. Right? This is still on my flatting layer. And the reason this is important is because I'm going to have to go back through here and clean things up when we go back in here like that and stuff, right? She's got skin-colored eyes, so we want to take the skin-colored eyes out if we can avoid it. As I've talked about this a couple of times in the past, truth of the matter is you don't want to go to total white because that's not as good as it looks. Under here, we're going to have a little bit of it's going to be darker as it's under this curve. So we're going to do that. We're going to have a wait for it moment here. Fix her lips so that they're solid. There's a lot of galloping going on. Right. Now I can go through here and lightly touch through here, and this gives this more of a, like an effect. Right? It softens it. Now we'll come back out like this. And then we'll take a look at things like her buttons in a minute. Here's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to go up one layer. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to bring this brush up a size, like to there-ish, maybe 100. Right? So I'm going to set the brush to 100. I'm going to set it to black. I'm going to set the layers opacity to multiply and 33%. Okay? This way I can come through here and make shadows. Right? And then shade everything in. Like this. And since I have it on brush, and this skin brush, which is really, really nice and soft, I can go through and actually just kind of, make this look a little like it's hand painted a little. Right? We'll go through like that. We'll go through on her hair and do stuff just a little bit like this. And give her some depth. Right? This just gives depth to everything. We'll even give a little bit of depth to her face. We have to be careful up here, because we don't want to take too much of that in. I'm going to give it a soft erase, just a little bit of a soft erase through here, like this. Right. I'm going to come back around on the outside, because she's got reflection coming from behind her. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to gently touch through the top right through here. Right. There we go. Come back in with our brush. I'm just going to go back through here and just a little bit there. Right. She's bent over a little, so we want to be careful about how we're doing this part, because there's going to be a certain amount of I have to deal with that. Now we can clean up around the edges. We probably want to do that with a hard eraser like this, because you get a clean line, a crisp line through there. Anytime we've crossed into this zone like that, we want to make sure we use the hard eraser for that. Brush. There we go, just like that. And coming back around. And keeping top part clear and the bottom part clear. There we go. We're going to do some other work with this too, but for right now this works. I'm going to go back in with the brush, do the same thing back here with him. Right, he's got sort of a jacket going for him, so I want to make sure that I've got that looking good. And the same thing, I'm going to give him a little bit of a shadow under his chin, and we'll come back around and fix this in detail here in a second. Alright, there we go. And how we fix it is by getting in close again, tight, and coming back here and hitting it with the eraser. Right? His nose is not going to be that way, and neither is his. There we go, just like that, just like that. Just getting a little bit of shading there. We'll clean up that, and this. And this way, he still has sort of an effect going for him, but he's far away and he's not the center of attention on this. I just want people to know that he's here. Right? He needs, you need to know this character is here. And that's it. Give some highlight from behind. And make sure the post doesn't have anything. Clear up all the mess that we got onto this part of her skirt so that we don't have to worry about that. There we go. All right. Now that we've touched that, let's go ahead and work on things like the sails, right? The sails are going to have a certain amount of this is the underside of a sail right through here. So we really want this to work like this. I'm going to cut this back. Sunlight's coming through here on this side. There we go. And again, we want a highlight on one side to show that we've got sort of light going on both directions. So we're going to come back around like this. And this gives this that round feel. Round, round, ground. I wonder if it'd be friends with me. There we go. Add some darkness back here just to make it stand out. And it's behind her, so we want to make sure that you see that it's behind her. It's operating behind her. Right? So we'll go like this, and then go like this. Giving a little bit of roundness to this side as well. Here we go. Now it looks like we've got some rounded sails kind of going around there. We'll do the same thing down here with this, but I'm going to want to be very careful to keep my brushes operating in the same direction as the wood grain. Right. And back here we got a lot of stuff going on that's probably in the dark. Or at least darker. And now it's feeling very 3D. We've got a nice roundish feel to just about everything going on here. I'm just going to touch in here a little like that. That's right under this part of the underarm and things like that. We want to make sure that that's got a nice feel to it too. Give her dress on the front edge here, just a little bit of a roundness as well, and into the petticoats. Right. Right, we're just bringing this back around like so. There we go. Give him a little bit of darkness here and maybe an Adam's apple sort of effect going. There. Either way, things are happening. This is a happening place, right? Now that we've done that, and we've got all this kind of colored kind of going through here, now we're going to go into the highlights and highlight in. Highlights go in under white, and this is where we're going to do, we want pin for this. I'm going right here, and things like, we want this to be on top of that. We want her eyes to have highlights. Otherwise, they look weird. Like, you want highlights around her lips, like this. Right? And maybe right along the top of her head. Right through here. because she's, stressing a little. Her nose, her cheek, right? That all gives a nice highlight to that, and makes everything look a little bit more round and realistic. Just a hair. Right, we'll go through here. Not feeling like it's showing up as much when you're looking farther back like this, and we want it to look a little further on that one. We'll do the same thing with her hair. Highlight over her hair. Right, and we'll just giving the top of her hair a little bit of highlight. There we go, just like that. Just like that. And then we'll give her fingers just a touch. And then we'll come along here on this, but we have to be very careful. We want it to be highlight, but we don't want it to look like it's shiny, because it's fabric, and fabric's not going to be shiny. Her fingers might be, because skin can be reflective, or can be have highlights. And her hair, definitely you want to give it a shine, because you want her hair to look like it's healthy. Right, so we're going to go ahead and just do that. And go back through like this. And come over here, and this guy needs a highlight especially, because he needs to stand out and pop away from her face. And take an eraser, because actually not this side, because the highlight's coming across like that. And we'll go down here into this section, and this is where we'll turn these into gemstones. Gemstones being, glassy in a lot of ways, but disruptive. So they're not going to be. This one here, we got to watch out, because these guys are on the bottom side, so you don't want them to be too shiny, but you want them to shine a little, right? I'm going to give her ribbon and her bow a little bit of shine, like that. That's where we are. Alright, just like that. Now she's really popping. It's all really standing out, right? I'm going to give a little bit of shine back here to her dress. The majority of the reason that I'm doing this is just so that it will stand out. It's very close to the back here where it's on these sails. And I really want to make sure that a space pet, huh? You're on sort of a thing about Bellatrix Rising, I assume, which would be fine. Space pets are cool. You're talking about a Space George. We're not saying George should be in space, but we're saying George should be in space. Now, giving a shine to the sails like this is going to make them really stand out. Like they've got sunlight on them somewhere, doing something, right? We're moving along rather nicely here. They can discover that later, huh? Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. So now we've got kind of this thing going for it. I gotta admit, it's coming along really nicely. I'm liking it a lot. I feel like there's still some stuff that needs to be done, but we're in about an hour, 2 hours into this, and it's actually not. I'm feeling like it's going to be close to finished soon, right? So we want to give the bowsprit of the ship a little bit of shine as well, just to make it stand out. Like that. Now I'm going to go up here with this rope. Now let's talk about this rope, because the rope is not standing out. So we're going to have it stand out a little here. But since it's a rope, we want it only to stand out on the spiral. So I'm giving it a curve on the spiral. I'm going to let this shine kind of go through here, like this. And I'm actually going to work real hard to kind of clear that one, because that's a converging tangent, which is one of the reasons why this is disappearing, why the rope is vanishing. At this point, though, it's going to be on the other side, right? And there we go. Action figures. You know, I'm chuckling, but I'm only chuckling because that actually is something that many people attribute to the genius of George Lucas, is that he kept the rights for the action figures. And as we all know, any of us that grew up in the 80s, we all had Star Wars action figures. The funniest thing is, there were Star Trek action figures too. But they weren't as popular, and we only saw them for a little bit, and then they vanished. And someday, I will show you my collection of Star Trek action figures. They tried really hard with TNG. But the truth is, Star Trek fans would rather just build the ships. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't have right here some of the Legos that came from that's something interestingly that my action figures that I've got that are from Star Trek are very much like G.I. Joe. They've got the same articulation and everything like that. But the thing that still kind of kills me every time is that this guy, at like a half the size, a third of the size of our G.I. Joes, has the same articulation, if not better. I actually think he's got better articulation than our G.I. Joes did. I mean, he can, I don't know, whatever, you know. Put him up, Kirk. You know, he can do, yeah. I feel like he has better articulation than our G.I. Joes did. Kind of amazing to me, you know? Well, sorry about that. Okay. So those are just my those are my, what's it says, Creole, I've forgotten what they're called. They're called something. Anyway, let's go here. And we're just going to apparently not be able to select the right thing. There we go. That's what we're after. One of the things I want to do is check in on a new layer, and let's give something going on back here. Dust, dirt, I don't know, something's happening back here. So let's give some noise. Did I just happen to hit the exact same color that yeah, I did. That was weird. Didn't expect that. Will it do the things? Yes, it will. Okay. His special effect brushes actually work. Great. Stars. I think if I were to make this bigger, that might actually be kind of cool. Like snow. Like a snow effect. I could probably do that with that. But for right now, what I'm really looking for is something more like this, where I can get sort of clouds in here, right? Just something to shake this up a little. You know, we don't want to... these guys are all really... There you go. This way it feels a little bit more like there's something else going on back here. Not just, you know, random. Maybe we've got smoke or something, but it's, like I said, I really want the chaos. That's what I'm after here. I'm really after a chaotic feel. Want some serious chaos kind of going on. Something's happening in this picture. It's you know, there's something going on. Right? And that looks good. It looks solid. Like something's happening. And we can actually take and go back to some of these others we were looking at here. Little FX brushes. This looks like some kind of... Right? We do this. Put these in front. Got kind of things happening all over the place here. Right, and kind of some kind of ash kind of destruction sort of stuff going on all over the place. Sparked or cracked or something, but it's giving chaos to this. This is a major chaotic thing, so there's a lot of chaos going on, which is great. And I want more chaotic things happening here. Oh yeah, that's good. Right? Chaos everywhere. It feels like something's happening. There we go. Look at that. That looks super chaotic. I love chaos. I'm all excited about my chaos here. I'm like, ooh, look at the chaos I've created. That might be slightly too chaotic. Let's back it off a little. Let's just go in with just these things, because these are cool. They look cool. But let's be tactical about them. Right? Give the effect that she's doing something here. Right? Got some kind of pattern to them. There we go. Captain Chaos! Now that's looking great. We've got things around her. She's doing something. You can feel it. Right? You certainly feel like something's happening on this piece. We're going to save. And I feel like I'm pretty happy with it. What do we think? We pretty happy with it, guys? Think we need more chaos? We need, like, lights back there. I love, here we go, lights. No, let's not do that. Although that is kind of cool. I didn't mean to make that happen, but that is kind of cool. We did that. There we go. It's kind of cool. Right? It feels like that. It feels like she's doing something out of sheer will. It's just like, she's like trying to hold this ship together. Flashing lights. I'm easily entertained. I don't know. It feels like fun chaos, but I don't think we need it. I don't feel like, well, maybe we do. Kind of like that. Kind of like the chaos that's going on here. I like it too. Okay, let's bring up we got to bring up our, there we go, administration. Let's bring up a seal so we can stamp this guy and put him out. So I think I'm going to just take you, copy, there we go, paste. I feel like we may have to invert this guy. We'll have to see. Let's see how this works. Because I feel like this might have to be an invert issue. Right. And we'll go. Nope. Tonal correction. Hue saturation. We're going to drop the saturation all the way down. There we go. And we take this guy. And we go for screen. There we go. We'll make him a little smaller. There we go. He needs a scar. Right? After all of this stuff flying around, he's like, oh, gosh. Oh, man, this is fun. Yeah, I may give this a second or third look before we go on this one. I'm feeling very solid about this picture. This is a good piece. This is going to be a nice piece in the Elio of this book. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and save a small version of this. then send it off to be checked over. Right? We only needed just a little. Just a little. All right. All right, guys. I feel like we have done wonderfully today on this. I feel like the work here is solid. Let's move back to here. So I feel like we've gotten a lot of really good work done on this. This is a good piece, and I think it'll go well to Ron Fortier, because it's a piece for Ron. So we'll see whether he digs it. If Nancy Hansen, who's the one who's writing the book, whether she approves of it too, we'll have to see. I'm not sure, but I anything could happen. Personally, I love it. It's super chaotic and way awesome, and that's just the way it should be. Things should be chaotic. Yep, George made it happen. This is all because George was here. It's an awesome picture because of George. Hey, George, did you know that? Are you even in here? You're not in here anymore. He's not actually on the May line anymore. He's left the May line. But since I can hear my child going up and down the stairs like 17 elephants, I'm assuming that he is one of the elephants going up and down the stairs, because that's what they do. So there you go. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it, of course. I always do. I'm going to go ahead and leave 15 minutes early. We can go to lunch. It's either that or start something else, which I'm not really up on today. I mean, I don't like to start at 15 till. But I think this piece is solid. I'm going to send this off and see what we get out of our forgotten what they're called. The people you work for. The people you work for, people. And I will see you all. Yep, you're going to go start. Well, you should start streaming games, Brent. I'll see if I can't join you tonight. No promises on this one because I don't know what we're going to be doing for Borderlands. But I'll certainly give it a shot and see if I can't join you. So that'll be awesome. In the meantime, have a great day. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.